if you've been doing the do, if you've been in that doing place, and you know that you've got your sails open, and you know that you're holding yourself open and making yourself available to what you don't know yet, and you're giving yourself permission to be there, and you're doing all the doing pieces, okay? And you're actually coming into a place now then where your being, your vibration, what you're doing for yourself energetically needs to line up. If you're energetically not lined up with the doing, it ain't gonna work. And it's about feeling good now, being in that enthusiasm now, not tomorrow, not when you get to X or the predetermined result that is based upon what your circle is. And I know that that sounds so not concrete enough, but it is a reality, and it's not something that we're actively taught. I mean, think about our language. When someone asks you, how are you doing? What do you say? We say fine. Fine doesn't mean anything. Fine is an acronym, and I don't even want to talk about what the acronym stands for. Okay? But it doesn't mean anything. What does fine mean? It doesn't mean anything. One of the best things we can possibly do is start filling our hearts and our minds with words that truly express how we feel. Are we exuberant? Are we exhilarated? Are we comforted? Are we curious? But pick. There's tons of words. Find the words, find the feelings. No, don't find them. Finding implies another doing thing. It implies that it's beyond you and outside of you. It isn't. It's already there. And just like having a resonant frequency, you're just the radio button that's out of tune. You're getting static. Tune into the radio station, get a clear signal, and in this case, you're tuning into yourself and you're giving off a clear signal. And then, bit by bit, little bit at a time, ultimately, it may not come up as this big gust of wind right away, but it'll just be a breeze. It'll be just enough to flutter those sails for you to go, and you'll give attention to the direction that the breeze is coming from. And you'll start steering into it. And then the sails will start to fill, and it'll start to move, and it'll do what it's meant to do. It's both and. And that's about the most that I can say about that. I get it. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's not comfortable. There's a tendency to want to be in the victim place with it. There's a tendency to want to make it about what somebody else isn't doing or what something else isn't happening. And you are the person who creates your life. You have a blackboard, and a whole bunch of stuff has been written on it. And you have the opportunity to take your eraser, and you can erase whatever you want, and you can write a new blackboard. And you can choose. And keeping in mind that choosing isn't just from the action place, it's the being place. The two are the same. They go together. And I would just send love and comfort. And if there's anybody who's watching this right now that you feel you really need that, just know that you are loved, you are cared for, and that there is a support network around you. And the more you reach out to that support network, and the more you ask them to just remind you, they don't have to tell you what to do, they're not you, but they can just remind you, and you can tell them what they are to remind you of, whatever that joy thing is. Literally, I have friends who go, when were you last out at the ocean? I know you're down in San Diego. That doesn't necessarily mean that you physically got yourself out to the ocean. You know, when was the last time you went hanging out over in the hills so that you could hang out with the hummingbirds? You know, like, I have friends who will nudge me and remind me of those things that put me in that joy place. And I would really encourage you, start making a list. Share the list with a few people. Maybe it's just one person. Share that list with someone so that they can hold up the mirror and say, you know, and this doesn't come from me. This comes from Suze Casey from Belief Free Patterning. That a friend is someone who will hold up the mirror and who will remind you of who you really are when the person that you really are isn't showing up very much. Okay? And that's who your friends and your family are. And so, or colleagues or whoever, and just have at least one person. I have 3 who will hold up the mirror and go, so are you doing this? Why don't you go do this? And they do it gently, and they do it lovingly, and they don't do the I told you so, and they don't try to lecture me, and they don't try to bring me up, because all that does is piss me off. And just know that it's part of the cycle, that it's part of your learning, that you are here to learn, and that everything that happens is perfect.